Hello and welcome. As I understand it, we are performing an aromatherapy massage. Is that correct? Wonderful. So we have something very special in store for you then, because quite a few of the essential oils that we use with this massage are actually homemade. We grow the materials here and refine the oils and use them in our massages. So I have both the homemade essential oils as well as an assortment of other types of oils like citrus or ylang ylang or clary sage, for example. Now, in terms of our homemade essential oils, we have quite a few herbs to choose from. So, for example, we have the sweet basil plant, Genovese basil, and this oil is used for mental clarity, for headaches, digestion, and it's also an energizer as well. Or we have the oils from the peppermint plant, and this is a menthol kind of oil, so like you get from eucalyptus, for example. And this is really good for focus, digestion, energy. It's really good for opening up the sinuses as well as treating pain. And it's been used for pain, for digestion for a long time. It's used topically for pain and often as a tea for nausea and other sort of gastrointestinal issues. And then we have the astringent, sort of spicy qualities of the rosemary plant. Its oils help with focus, memory, as well as sleep and pain as well. It's a little shrubby little plant here. Another member of the mint family, we have oregano. When we use this kind of oil, sometimes, especially in a blend, we can get almost sort of a pizzeria kind of smell going on, which actually some people quite like. It gives sort of a nostalgia factor. But this is particularly good for boosting immunity, as well as being a stimulating herb and having quite a warming quality to it. And lastly, I had to grab one of the tips that wasn't about to flower. We'll be doing a harvest here soon, but we have lavender. So this one looks quite similar to rosemary, as you can see, but they have rather different qualities. They can grow in the same areas though. They have that sort of Mediterranean habitat. And this is obviously very good for sleep and relaxation, but is also excellent for the mood as well as opening up the sinuses. So, are there any particular herbs or scents that stand out to you that you'd like me to use for this massage? Yeah, even just the properties, if you want to focus on a specific aspect of the oils, for example, sleep or focus or a boost in energy. Absolutely. So let me see what I've got here. Okay, maybe. Yeah, I think that one. Certainly. And then we'll do a blend of a couple oils here. So I am going to get just a smidge of our carrier oil as well, and we'll do a little sort of salutation to the aromatherapy. So you can use quite a few different carrier oils. You have jojoba, sweet almond, but we are actually going to be using grapeseed oil today, all right? Wonderful. So let me just grab that. Get just a little bit here. We only need enough to dilute our essential oils. You always want to use a carrier oil with these. And then a couple drops. Good. Already get the scent filling the room. And I am going to put my hands by your nose. I'm not going to be so up close that it's suffocating, but you'll certainly be able to smell the oils. And I am going to have you do some deep breathing. We'll get those oils working into your system. If I could have you just take a deep breath in and out. Deep breath in and out. Deep breath in and out. Good. I am going to have you undress to your preferred levels of comfort, and we can begin the massage. So for the massage, I am going to need to be touching you. Is that okay with you? I have your consent to do that? Wonderful. So you go ahead and get arranged on the table, and I will be back in just a few minutes. You comfortable like this? Wonderful. So I am going to get more of our oil, more of our essential oils for the aromatherapy. And then we're going to begin with the back here. We are going to be doing back, arms, the legs, as well as the anterior body. We will stay away from the face because these oils can be a little strong, and the skin of the face is much more sensitive and might experience irritation as opposed to the rest of the body. Skin's a little less sensitive. Get a bit of oil here. Now we don't want this to become huge mess by any means. A couple drops of our carrier oil. And there are plenty of towels as well, so that we can catch any errant oil. And we're just going to start with these long strokes on the back. We are just distributing the oil there. And how is this pressure as we're starting? Wonderful, good. Do let me know if you need any more pressure, any less. For the posterior side of the body, I can't see your face, so I wouldn't be able to tell with context clues. So I won't need you to just tell me, okay? I won't be offended at all. The preference of pressure is highly subjective. Some people want a really firm massage. Some people you're barely touching, and they much prefer it that way. We're getting a good slick surface here. And I'm going to continue with our effleurage, which is our long strokes here. And we're going to do this for a little bit because what we're doing is warming up the tissues. We are warming everything up so that the skin, the muscle, the fascia that connects it all is pliable and responds much better to our ministrations, so that we don't get anything locking up, that we don't have these areas tighten up any more than they are. If we just force our way into it, the body doesn't respond by letting you break into it. That's much too harsh. But we want to instead melt into the tissues. I'm getting to the point where I'm getting more of a grip on the muscles, and we will want that, but for the moment we want to keep it a little more slick. So I'm just going to grab a little bit more oil, and I believe we have plenty of our aromatherapy oil. Good. So are there any particular areas you want me to focus on the back here? Hear that bit of thunder? Rattled the windows, that did. So, as you were saying, I see. Yes, we can certainly just take a little look around. So, since I've got this bit of slide, I'm just going to take a bit of a peek. And we will assess the back for any particular areas of tightness. Let's start up by the neck. So our big muscle here is called the trapezius, named so because it is trapezoidal in shape. And then our other big piece of the back, if we come a little lower, this is latissimus dorsi, or latissimus dorsi. Depends on if you go a little more English pronunciation versus the original Latin. Dorsi or dorsi referring to the back of the body, and latissimus or latissimus referring to the widest part, the most wide. You can see that in the root word that is shared by latitude. Latissimus, latitude. And then we also have some pretty significant joints here. We have the shoulders or the glenohumeral joints. And down here we have our hip joints, these ball joints. And in terms of bony structures, we have the spine. So we are focusing more on the thoracic and the lumbar. We come down into the sacrum here. We have the pelvis, and we also do a lot of work on the iliac crests here. We have the scapulae, singular scapula, plural scapulae, and we will work a bit on either side of the spine, but we don't want to go directly over the vertebrae, singular vertebra, plural vertebrae rather. Lots of Latin in these bodies of ours. Ever find it strange that we named the parts of ourselves, that they didn't have a name when they were first, one could say designed, one could say conjured, one could say built, just however they appeared nameless, and we were the ones who gave them names. So we'll just check in around the shoulders. As well as the bottom of the cervical vertebrae and the top of the thoracic. Good. And we'll come down the spine either side. Good. Just using my fingers on either side to feel for any particular knots, and we'll come along the lateral sides of the back. Good, and into the sacrum and around the iliac crests here. Any of these particular areas tender at all? Wonderful. Oh, we're just going to get some kneading in then, some petrissage. Yeah, and this is where I use that little bit of slick left, as much of the oil has absorbed quite a bit, but I've got a bit of grip, and we can just work around. The back, give everything a bit of reinvigoration. Give everything a bit of a refresh. And prevent any areas from sticking. Did hear a few growls of thunder. And it's one of those things where they're so low that you can't tell if it was traffic or not until you feel the little bit of vibration as well. I quite like that part of the Is It a Storm guessing game. We're supposed to get a bit of rain. You might get rained on when you leave. It's supposed to be quite widespread. There. Come back up. And I'm gonna grab just a bit more. Yeah, just enough so that you can get some smooth sliding in. And then we can work on the other parts of the body. So I'm just going to transition this over to your arm here. And I have enough leftover oil that we can get a good amount of glide, but I don't want it as slick as your back was, because this area does respond a little bit better with a little more grip. Still have some of the remnants of our aromatherapy oils, our little blend. And we are just going to work from shoulder to the tips of your fingers. This is where, again, it's some effleurage, but I might do more petrissage here. Really get into the meat of the muscles, so we don't have our wide, flat sheet of fascia and muscle, but instead we have a lot more bulk compared to the back. So this is where it feels a lot nicer to get some kneading in there, especially with the fingers here. So I'll work the arms and the legs, a little bit of the feet, and then we'll look at the anterior a bit. We're just going to get a good bit of kneading in there. And then do some more of our effleurage. Good. Let's go ahead and just get some of our strokes in. We can move to the other side. There we go. Very good. A little bit of oil. And I did pick up a drop of aromatherapy oil. Just enough to give us another waft or two. You will likely notice that your skin is going to be buttery soft. By the time we're done with this, massage, kneading, stroking all around the arm, enjoying the scent of our oils. I think the grapeseed with its neutral quality really allows the oils to bloom their scents, especially when they're activated by the heat of us kneading and working the skin and the muscles. We have complementing our smells. We have our gentle rain. We have our rolls of thunder. Distant locomotive horns. They sound so much nicer in the rain. It dampens the edges of it, the sharpness. We can move to the legs before flipping you over and working a bit with the front of the body. I'm just going to give a few last strokes and then we'll have you reposition. Now in terms of the legs, we're going to need quite a bit of oil here. I got a few more drops of our aromatherapy oil. But this is a very large area, larger than the back even. Often some people have much larger torsos than legs. Some people it's the other way around. So we do get our strokes, but like the arms, it does like a bit of kneading as well, although I quite enjoy getting the very long strokes of the leg. And almost sort of marrying it all together. There we go. And we don't spend as much time with areas like the arms or the chest. The back definitely gets the most attention. That tends to be what people want. Legs get a bit. It's sort of in between. And then for this particular massage, we can get a little bit into the feet. Primarily this one is for relaxation, so it goes a lot with the Swedish massage or classic massage. How are we doing on pressure? Good deal. Good deal. Excellent. And we can work with the foot down here. And almost anything you do with the foot, barring any sort of, for example, plantar fasciitis, any sort of injury or condition, most things feel good so long as the touch is firm. If you're too gentle, then it stimulates more of a ticklish feeling. Your body's not really sure what to do with that sort of stimulus. And we can marry that with the rest of the leg. Before going to the other leg. I think the legs as a subject for massage is quite an interesting one, in that there is so much one can do, and all these little subtleties in the anatomy to work with. We have the feet, which we generally make a category all their own. We have the lower leg, which we typically work with the calf the most, and then the knee a little bit, and the thigh is pretty much worked with on all surfaces. And that's the area that can really take a lot of pressure too. It's very powerful, a lot of power in the legs. It may not be as fluid as the back. The back can be very enjoyable to massage just from its pliability and how the skin folds and moves as you need into it. But the legs are a bit of a labyrinth. Lots of twists and turns. A lot of little areas we want to avoid and areas we want to be a little more firm with. So we'll get into the chest, the shoulders, a bit of the arm, just to marry it all together. And that area is it's quite a mix as well. You have the chest, which is a little more delicate, and the shoulder, which can take quite a bit, the arm, which can as well. So I'm just going to bring this all together. And then we will move on. We've still got our bit of oil from working with your arms while you were on your stomach. So we're going to stroke around a bit, but mostly I'm going to focus on the upper arm and the shoulder and the chest. Just get a good stroke in there before working over here. Good. And we'll get the area where the neck meets the shoulder, meets the chest, all those junctions. And this benefits from some kneading, usually more with my fingers, that sort of targeted kneading. And this is a rather small area. We can bridge it together with the arm before coming back up. We're just going to give this a good working through. Excellent. Bridging the chest to the shoulder to the arm. Everything is connected. Good. And one last stroke down and just connect everything together. This side of the chest, the arm, and the shoulder. Lots of those little cracks and creaks. And how's the pressure? Good. This area can be pretty tough. I mean, the shoulder and the arm can take quite a bit, but the chest sometimes a little less so. We'll just get a fair bit of stroking and kneading in. And then we can work a little bit with the feet to end the massage. And if you would like, you're more than welcome to borrow an umbrella. And whenever you want to come back, you can give that back to us. And we need to just finish off for a few strokes here. And we can move. Finish us off. We have the feet. And looks like the rain lightened up a little. But you're still more than welcome to that umbrella. And this is sort of a reprise from earlier when you were on your stomach and we were working the posterior leg and the foot, where it's a bit of stroking, a bit of kneading, just pulling everything together. We'll work this for just a few moments. Get the feet all nice and warm, nice and soft. Open, softened. And I'm just going to stroke off here. And that will conclude our massage. So, I do have some towels right next to you. If you want, I can help you out with wicking away some of the oil. Some people like to rub it in a little bit more on their hands, on their feet. But if you need me to get your back, for example, I'm more than happy to do that. Yeah, it's not too bad. I mean, you've been laying on a towel as well. Alright. So I will let you get dressed and I will let you get back to your day. You are more than welcome to leave whenever it suits you. If you need a moment, just hang out. It's more than fine. I'd like to thank you so much for coming to me for this aromatherapy massage. I hope you have a whale of a day and a good rest of your night. Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed this video, it would greatly help me out if you clicked the like button and left a comment so YouTube's algorithm registers that it was a good video. If you want to see more of my work, consider subscribing to the channel. I create primarily medical, pseudoscience / alternative medicine, and personal attention ASMR roleplays. But I've done a little bit of everything from historical to sci-fi to fantasy. If you'd like to support the channel, I offer ad-free videos, early access on videos, and exclusive content